folks, we're here to review Before the Flood. I'm your host Rainiac, and this is another Doctor Who review, and joining me are two special guests.
I'm special.
I swear you've done that introduction before.
Yes, you are.
I swear you've done that before.
I wouldn't know.
Since they once again did not introduce themselves, we got Kuchiri, we got Kat here, and we are reviewing Before the Flood. I swear, guys, why do I keep you around? Anyway.
Because you needed Americans for the show, you know, the whole, The
sad thing is he's right.
Because you love us.
You keep me around because you
Or at
needed
least
an
you
American.
love me.
You keep her around because you needed a female.
Oi.
We're not getting into tokenism here. So, this episode started very, very interestingly and very, very different from the norm. With a rock rendition of the Doctor Who theme.
Played by Capaldi himself.
I could not find confirmation whether it was played by Capaldi himself, but it wouldn't surprise me. He was playing the guitar in the first episode.
It's clear that they want him to use the guitar more often. I wonder if that's his own suggestion.
Well, he was in a band.
Yeah.
Years and years ago.
Just them showing it off.
Anyway,
really, except for it leading into the intro, there was absolutely no reason for him to be playing a guitar.
It was a bit silly, but god damn it, I loved it.
It was amazing.
It completely goes against the whole tone of the episode and what had come before it. Because it's like previously in Doctor Who, we had ghosts and people getting killed and underwater base, and Clara's disconnected from the Doctor. Oh, and look, the Doctor's going to die now because he's a ghost. And then guitar music. Dun 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 dun. But that sort of tonal, I'm going to sound like really posh here, tonal dissonance is kind of typical of this episode, as you'll find out as we go along.
And really, who cares? Because everybody knows the Doctor's not going to die in this episode.
Well, yeah, true. But did we all guess?
God! Oh!
But did we all guess that it was a hologram?
Oh my God, no! How could I ever do that?
Did we all guess that the ghost was actually a hologram?
I was thinking it was something else, but because it was very detailed to be a hologram, but...
I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking hologram, but I was thinking something was up because it wasn't saying the same words as the other ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was still technically a ghost, but he found a way to project himself in a different way from dying.
Yeah, I actually thought
either that or everybody else was in a coma, but then I thought of but he's kind of drowned, so...
Oh, that wasn't a joke. Sorry for that sort of burst of laughter.
I was thinking like they were just trapped between dimensions, and like that's how they were shown.
I apologise for breaking everyone's eardrums just now with that burst of laughter, but I thought she was making a joke and not a serious point.
You heartless bastard.
Thanks for that.
I say in love.
So, Kat, what do you think about the Doctor in this episode?
I think he was okay. I mean, it's still the usual blow it out of the park, he's amazing as the Doctor, Capaldi performance, but there's just something about this episode just doesn't sit right. It's not his fault, it's the episode's fault. Yeah,
I think that's right. I mean, people have probably guessed by now that there's something up with this episode, and I don't think any of us adored it.
I thought it was better than most episodes from the other, series. But you guys know I hated the last Series 7, last Series 8.
Let's put it this way. It made Fres go fuck Moffat.
Whithouse.
And
this episode.
It's not Moffat, it's Whithouse.
Yeah, this is a Whithouse episode.
For once, we cannot blame Stephen Moffat.
No, we could kind of blame Stephen Moffat.
No, for once we cannot blame Stephen Moffat. Shut up.
We could... No.
He greenlit it. It was technically his fault. He could have said no or changed something, but he didn't.
Kat, you're as bad as he is. Come on now.
No. The thing is, Whithouse did something that Moffat did last season with this series that we're saving to the very end to talk about. But that's why we have the biggest complaint about this episode, and we'll talk about it last so we can complain about it.
Well, way to signpost it.
Skip to 45:37 for spoilers.
Okay, now we have to condense it down, dude.
To 45:37, yeah, so that happens. If I edit this up now and I find it gets to 45:37, I'm burning the witch again.
Send us,
Because what
send us
the-
a little text reminder.
What the hell, man? Talk
Okay,
about
I'm good.
predestination paradox and bullshit like that. You've just created one right there. Except not quite, but we'll talk about paradoxes and crap like that later on. Yeah, I thought Capaldi again, I think you've nailed it. I think his performance, as good as ever, but he didn't have much to work with.
But at least it wasn't as bad as Force of the Night, though. Like, Capaldi couldn't save that episode. No matter how hard he tried.
Yeah.
That was the day to get drunk on set. And just-
Nobody could have saved that episode.
He was
Nobody.
bored while saying his lines!
I can't say I blame him.
Anyway,
It's
but...
like here he was at least marginally excited to say his lines, but that doesn't
No,
mean that's great.
He put his on into it, and I actually thought he did a great performance, especially with the speech at the end. But
We can't go too into this because obviously this is a tangent. But if I were Peter Capaldi, I would have pulled a sickie when it was time to film in Forest of the Night. have me replaced by a CGI ghost of Hayden Christensen.
Wait,
Okay,
are you saying?
make it a Dr.
are you-
Light episode?
Yeah, are you saying I can have a vacation for the next 10 days? See ya, bye.
That's quite funny. But we should move back to the episode that we're actually talking about.
Yeah, but like Capaldi did put his all into this episode. This, as I was saying earlier, like everything about this episode, all his, him freaking out every time. I'm bad with names again. The science guy tries to
Bennett.
Bennett tries to rewrite history. Yeah, we've seen this before with actually Eccleston, but it feels like he put all into it.
I do like the way he just clotheslined him, just flat out WWF.
That was hilarious.
Well, it was hilarious, and yet it was sad.
Yeah.
Because what he was trying to do. But he just makes a grab for O'Donnell, and then the doctor just turns around, bam, no nonsense, clothesline. Falls on top of him.
Just tackles him to the ground.
I don't think it was meant to be a clothesline, but that's what it looked like to me.
And it's John Cena!
Oh no.
Ooh.
It was only a matter of time when John Cena was referencing one of these reviews, but god damn it, Kuchiri.
I never
Could have
watched
turned it
wrestling.
into an actual joke, like the doctor has his name.
And his name is John Cena!
Okay.
Yeah, moving on. Ever so fast from that.
We can't run fast enough.
Oh, I think we can.
Let's talk about another, what I think was a strong performance, although you might disagree with me. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about the Doctor, actually, before we move on. I do like how he's back to being kind of manipulative.
Yeah.
Like, he's back to being manipulative. It's a bit like the Mummy and Orient Express. The whole business of the O'Donnell's death, we'll talk about that in a minute, don't worry, because there's a lot to mention there, my God.
O'Donnell!
And Bennett rightly calling him out on that, being willing to break the rules to save Clara, but not to save anybody else. And that's about the one thing that Bennett did in this episode that was remotely good. That was almost his entire purpose in surviving, which is not great. But anyway, yeah, the other...
None of the men do anything in this.
For me, one of the standout episodes, one of the standout characters in this was Clara. You're going to disagree with me, I know.
I think Cass.
Yeah,
was...
it's a toss-up between Clara and Cass for me. They kind of go together for reasons I'm about to explain. In a way, Cass is Clara's companion. And Clara's the Doctor here.
Yeah.
And there is a scene towards the end which I absolutely bloody love, which encapsulates it more than anything. But we need to give that its own little thing. In fact, we'll probably do that when we talk about Cass herself and the rest of the crew. But the dialogue between Cass and Clara, well, it's one-sided, isn't it? Or it's been interpreted by Lon. but it's brilliant, and it just sort of shows how much Clara has changed as a character.
I will say I'm sort of half on the fence, half off about how Clara did, simply for the fact that her main role seems to just be giving speeches in this. And while they're very good speeches and very well delivered, it's just not something I could really get into.
But just
She
playing
doesn't really
devil's advocate,
do anything.
isn't delivering speeches what the Doctor does best as well?
Yeah, but the Doctor is also smart and does science and
Well, the whole
thinks
thing,
of ways.
I think we're going Clara here. Her arc, we don't know if it's the story arc for the whole series, but her arc seems to be she's becoming more and more like the Doctor, for better or for worse.
Yeah. Where's Fresno with his dark mirror?
Yeah,
thingy?
there's quite a few mirrors in this episode, but not the one he was expecting. He was thinking it's going to be, to quote his review, in the red corner we got Clara being a mirror of the Doctor, well, paraphrasing his review. In the blue corner we got the not so scary No Eyes Ghost, or scary No Eyes Ghost Doctor.
And in the green corner, we've got John Cena.
Not you as well. Not you as well.
John Cena!
He started it.
We are not.
He started it.
This is not a school, children. But we're not flooding this with John Cena. God damn it. Anyway, what was I going to say? You completely taken me out of it. What was I going to say? Yeah, you mentioned speeches. I loved her speech to the Doctor, and indicating that she's not ready to give up this life with him yet. But she admits in the same breath, almost, it can't last forever.
If you have any love for me, you'll figure out how to break the rules or something like that.
Not that. It was don't die. Wait for the person that comes after me.
Oh yeah.
Which is very selfish, thinking about it.
Yeah, but she was kind of selfish in Series 8.
Yeah.
And there were consequences.
That's a good character trait to have, because you don't want too many positive traits in your characters. Because
I think the way that they're writing Clara now is excellent. I think she's gone from being sort of a generic, if enjoyable, companion to a very memorable and very well written character. And she just keeps evolving.
She's starting to feel a little bit more human rather than superhuman, which is what you really don't want with a companion for the Doctor.
Yeah, they've stopped. It's almost like Moffat's listened to the fans a little bit too much, because people are saying, oh yeah, Clara Who, she's doing far too much. And so they've scaled her back a bit, but they've almost scaled her back too much, and now she does very little. And this week was perhaps the first time she got to do something on her own without the Doctor or Missy.
She's done stuff on her own.
Not in Series 9.
No.
Man, I really wish it was Osgood now.
Yeah.
I know, right? Kuchiri's theory is amazing.
For those who just tuning in, last week I made a theory that Osgood was supposed to be the companion this season, and Clara wanting to still remain companion, they rewrote the first chunk of these episodes, replacing Osgood with Clara. And yeah.
Yeah, we covered it in detail, and I was blown away last week when we were reviewing
Under the Lake.
Thank you. I don't know. It's on the screen in front of me. I can't remember the name of the goddamn episode. I don't know why that is. But yeah, I thought that I might be in the minority, but I thought Clara was excellent here. I like the fact that she's taking on more and more aspects of the Doctor, for better or for worse. And I love when Cass called her out, and it was like, did traveling with the Doctor change you? Did traveling with the Doctor change you, or were you always having to put others at risk? He taught me what has to be done. He taught me to do what has to be done. That's a very pragmatic view of the situation. And the Doctor, certainly Capaldi's incarnation of the Doctor, can be considered a pragmatist, and now Clara can as well.
Yeah.
So, can someone like that actually has knowledge of sign language translate what she was saying during that scene?
You mean the one where...
I was thinking she was saying, oh, you're just going to follow her because she has a set of tits or something.
Do you mean when Clara said I didn't need an interpreter for that one?
No. I don't know. Like the whole scene where... The whole little waving at her tits.
Well, as far as I know, they were very, very careful to make sure that the sign language was genuine.
Not because she's,
Yes, this isn't Nelson Mandela's funeral service.
Oh dear God, you brought that up.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing and terrible at the same time.
Seriously, how could somebody just walk onto the stage?
Who knows? Anyway, I hope I hope he liked his 15 minutes of fame because he probably got thrown into a jail cell shortly afterwards. Moving on. It's funny you brought up the signing. I think we'll talk about that now. Oh, another thing I like when Cass is sort of staring at Clara and she says, "I know that look. I do that look." So yeah, Cass is the companion for Clara. Let's talk about Cass then.
Yay!
Because I think she was the best guest character by far. Both this week and last week.
I love Cass.
You mentioned the signing. There's a TV series over here called See Here. Here spelt like sense of hearing, and it's for deaf people. And there was an episode or a segment of it about filming under the lake before the flood.
Cool.
And Capaldi was interviewed, and Sophie Stone, who plays Cass, was interviewed, and she actually is the first deaf actress to graduate from RADA, which is a very prestigious drama school in London. So that's a high honour, the first deaf actress to ever graduate from RADA. So she's always in hand in man whenever they need a deaf character. And it talked about how she had a signing coach on the set at all times to make sure she got it right. And she came up with new sign languages for words that weren't in the common vernacular of the dictionary. For like character names and science fiction babble. And I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, every language has their slang, so...
Yeah. And again, it just goes to show that it's not just, we need a token deaf character. They were really committing to making this in the right way.
Yes, unlike other episodes we could talk about.
We mentioned this last week, yeah. Forrest did it
rant about.
Forrest did it bad this episode, and the one before it did it right.
Oh, she's waving the air in front of her face. She's special needs.
Oh, boy. How did you even mess that up? How?
Easily, with lazy writing.
It's not even hard to do it. You treat them like they're a person who happens to be this.
Yeah, you treat them like a person, not a disability. You've got it in one.
Mm-hmm.
They are not their disability only.
Yeah.
That is a part of who they are. Yes, it is an important part of who they are. But it is not what defines them totally.
Cass never lost her personality.
She is a person. She has a personality. She has, her own thoughts and feelings. She just happens to be deaf.
Cass has a whole story. Like, you see her, connect with, her translator. I'm bad with names. Very bad with names. And at the very end of the episode, you see, how close they really were. I mean, the second, Bennett told... What's his name?
Lon.
I'm bad with the name. Lon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that... just let it out. Let her know how you feel. She, jumped right on him.
Okay, I'm going to say something now. Didn't like that part of the episode at all.
Neither did I.
I hate it when they just randomly throw in, these two characters have always had a sexual attraction to one another, even though there was absolutely no hint in either of the two episodes up to that point.
There were some hints. She deeply cared for him.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a difference between deeply caring for somebody and loving
jump down his throat and play tonsil hockey. I'm sorry to be crass.
Everybody falls in love extremely easily.
I'm sorry to be crass about Cass, but it's one of those things I hate about writing. You call it lazy, and here it absolutely was lazy. And also, there was no hint that there was an attraction between O'Donnell and Bennett.
Yeah, that was true. But
I didn't even realize he liked her.
Yeah.
Until, he got really upset over her, and it's like, wait, he has feelings for her?
I mean... Okay, there is a bit in part one where Lon goes off and he's about to be killed by the ghost, and Cass is getting extremely worked up. And then she relaxes.
That doesn't have to mean that she loves him.
No, it could just mean that she needs her interpreter to function properly.
It could mean that, I don't know, maybe he's a relative of some sort and that's not explained.
Or, believe it or not, they are friends.
That too.
Could just be that. But no, we have to go the happily ever after. Let's have a pointless love story crowbarred in there. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I'm not blaming Sophie Stone for that. I thought she did a fantastic job in the episode, and she does get the best scene of the whole night. And Fresno, funny enough, thought this was a little bit too far, but it's the scene where she's being pursued by Moran's ghost. He's dragging the axle on the floor. There is a reason why I love this so much, and I'm going to have to go into a bit of description to explain why, so I apologise for this. Usually, when we have a disabled character in fiction, they are portrayed as next to useless because of disability. Kat is not. That's the first thing.
Oh, you talk about her daredevil power?
Yeah. And usually, I'm glad you brought that up, and usually what happens with the disabled character is they get put in a situation where the disability eventually leads to their death.
Basically, it fucks them over where it really shouldn't.
And you think that's going to happen here when she wanders off from Clara and the ghost is there dragging the axle on the ground and she can't hear anything. And in a really nice touch, you can't hear anything either.
Except whenever it focuses on the ghost and you hear the...
Yeah, I think that was great.
Is really suspenseful.
I love the fact that they killed the music dead for that bit, that part.
It's not just the music, it's all the sounds. You literally hear nothing.
Just the axes and her footsteps. You can hear the footsteps when he's dragging the axe, but yes. I thought it was great, and as I say, she goes down your knee. I thought, oh no, he's going to do the thing again. He's going to write her out. It's going to be her disability gets her killed, and I'm going to hate it. And then she does something wonderful. She puts her hand on the ground, and she goes into, yeah, you said it, daredevil vision, which Fresno thought was going a bit too far, and I can understand why.
That was too far because daredevil vision is actually a superpower, but
you know why it was there, though, don't you?
Not quite. Let me explain something. When people lose one of their senses, their other senses do indeed get enhanced.
Thank you.
So when someone is blind, then their hearing gets enhanced. For example, there was a blind man who learned how to travel by echolocation.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
there have been some deaf people who they go to, I don't know, a concert or someplace where there's a lot of loud music, and they listen to it by the vibrations. So this kind of thing can indeed happen. It's the way it was presented to us that I think Frez and I have the problem with.
It's not explained. It's not explained, but that is exactly it. People who've got a sense missing, the other senses compensate, and they become a bit better. And all she's really doing is just putting her hand to the ground to feel the vibration of the axe. And the reason why it goes daredevil vision is to show the audience that.
But we didn't need daredevil vision. If the daredevil vision was cut out and her hand touched the ground, then maybe they do like a little effect where you see the vibration visibly on screen.
But there's such a thing as being too subtle.
I don't know. I think it would have been easier if, they would have just shown that and then feel like, they see, like, she can feel it coming.
I think the true answer would be if a deaf person watched the episode and whether they thought it was too much.
There are two things that bother me with that. One, the fact that they show his whole body in this daredevil vision. If it was me doing it, I would make it more subtle. I would just make it show where the axe is touching the floor.
Yeah.
So then you just have the two metals scraping against each other, and the vibrations are making that show up.
Well, again, dramatic
not like
license.
everything around her.
Dramatic license, and it might be a little hard to just completely edit out the ghost altogether.
True.
Maybe they tried it.
The second thing that gets to me is that they're underwater. Very, very deep underwater, right?
Yeah, alright, that one I'll give you.
That they're in a pressurized area. There's pressure all around them. Stuff is going to be creaking, moving around. There's going to be all the wires and stuff humming. There's going to be a lot of vibrations. So her being able to feel and single out this one vibration, I'm a little shaky on. I
accept all of those. They are good arguments, but just for the fact that it turned around that disabled character gets killed because of their disability, I applaud Whithouse for that.
Yeah, I do accept that. It's just there's some bits about the scene that just rub me the wrong way.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Cass is really the only member of the crew that gets any character development whatsoever. Any chance to shine.
O'Donnell had a little bit of a shine before she got killed.
Yeah, and that really helped her, didn't it?
She got to fangirl, so that was cool.
Yeah.
She,
I got something in my shoe. It's been on inside! It's been on inside! It's been on inside!
Oh, that on second watch, that was heartbreaking. Knowing what was about to happen to her, that was heartbreaking.
No. Wasted potential future companions. That's going on the list.
It's not that, but they shouldn't have killed her off.
And really, in hindsight, they shouldn't have been able to, not save her simply for the fact that until she died, her ghost didn't show up at all.
No.
So that changed the past.
She
really.
could never have been saved. She could never have been saved, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
So, I thought, like you, at first, that was a needless sacrifice. He was just testing a theory. The guinea, as Bennett says, a guinea pig for his theory. But she could never have been saved. Because her ghost is needed to resolve the episode and open the stasis chamber. Because the Doctor's not a ghost, remember, the Doctor is a hologram. So there are only 3. O'Donnell is killed, that makes 4, and the chamber opens. If O'Donnell doesn't die, her ghost isn't there to open the chamber, and the Doctor cannot come out and save the day.
But the Doctor was the one...
How did she open the chamber?
Doctor was the one that opened the chamber. Her ghost was the one that stole the phone.
Yeah, but you're missing the whole point. The whole point of the ghosts were that they were the transmitters, and they were speaking the words silently, and when there were enough ghosts, the transmitters would open the box.
They were the transmitters to get the message out into the cosmos. Not
they
to do
weren't
anything with the stasis chamber.
It also said that it would awaken the stasis chamber. It did say that in the first episode.
But the Doctor said he needed to know when the stasis chamber was going to open.
And that was the point of... Yeah. But it does say in the first episode that it might be that they were beaming out into the cosmos, but they were also going to open the stasis chamber. It says that. So her death was necessary. I just didn't like it at all. But to put it another way, her death is a fixed point in time. She could not have been saved.
I really don't remember them ever mentioning that the ghosts were needed to open the stasis chamber.
Maybe I'm wrong.
They were just a transmitter.
The point is...
There is though a plot hole with that I'm now thinking of.
Oh no!
If that was the case, her ghost would have shown up in the first episode with the other guy's ghost. Yeah,
but her death is a fixed point in time.
Not really, because like I said, it didn't show up at all.
No, it is because of the hologram. Because of what the hologram says, she has to die. Think of the names. It's Moran, Pritchard, Prentice, O'Donnell, and then Clara. And
that's another bootstrap paradox, because if the Doctor hadn't heard himself say that, then he wouldn't know that she had to die. And then if she hadn't died, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but the point is, she couldn't have been saved. I wish she could have. Not to be a companion, but just because she didn't deserve that. But
I think she could have. It's just lazy writing killed her.
But why wasn't she around in the ship in the first episode?
Well, here's the thing, guys. You should know by now with Whithouse episodes, we have a character that we all like, we think is a really nice person, and they die horribly.
Yeah, but I think the Doctor's a nice person too.
Guido
he doesn't die horribly.
Guido from the Vampires of Venice and his daughter Isabel, but especially Guido, who blows himself up to sacrifice himself and destroy the vampires. I don't know what they're actually called. Well, I know what they're called, but I'm not going to look it up. The fish people, the brides. Rita from the God Complex.
People that aren't from Atlantis.
Rita from the God Complex, thank you. Isaac, the sheriff from a town called Mercy, and now O'Donnell. He loves killing off good characters.
And he also likes killing off K9.
That also counts. Thank you. That's my school reunion example that I didn't have until just now. Gotcha. Right. And then we have...
Anyways, now that we've had our discussion about the death of a character that shouldn't have happened...
Let's have a death of a character that had to happen. Alba Prentice.
Oh god, he couldn't have died sooner.
Seriously.
You're not a fan?
It's like if Wormtail from Harry Potter was sexual about the whole thing.
And again,
Like,
previous
the wimp.
continuity to another Whithouse episode, we saw a member of his species, the Tivolians, in the Go Complex. Played by David Walliams, Gibbous.
I don't think I liked him either.
No, he was a complete arse too, but this character, Prentice, I feel bad for Paul Kaye. Because Paul Kaye's a really funny guy, he's a pretty good actor as well, he's been in Game of Thrones, he's been in Agatha Christie's Marple.
You can tell he tried.
Oh, again, it's not the actor's fault.
He really tried to make it funny for us.
The
He tried
actor-
to make us entertained.
The
but it
actors
just
are really
didn't work.
doing the best with what they've been presented. Across the board, really. But he just didn't have much to work with. I did like the Star Wars reference on his business card. May the remorse be with you. I thought that was good. But he was mainly comic relief. And again, it's tonally jarring because we're dealing with a fluid base and ghosts in the future and the small matter of the Doctor's impending death.
And he was meant to be all scary in the last episode.
And that he's a bumbling idiot. And also, there was kind of a... Maybe I'm going way off the page here. There was kind of like an almost... When he's talking to the Doctor, say, you could always enslave me.
Oh God, no! Please don't talk about
That
that.
was almost like a sexual undertone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said he's Wormtail, but with sexual undertones.
So I take it when he got 86 by the Fisher King, you were cheering.
No, I was like, please let him die faster. Thank you.
We know he's going to die. Please make it be now.
I kind of hope that Paul Kaye returns as a different character, but I kind of hope Paul Kaye gets another chance to be in Doctor Who. Because I don't think he was used enough.
Oh
And
no, he was used enough here. Trust me, he was used enough here.
No, I mean, for an actor and comedian of his talents, he didn't get the best out of it. I totally believe that if you put him in another role, you would enjoy him a lot more.
Probably. It's just this one was terrible.
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault. Like I said, he actually did try.
Speaking of missed opportunities, we've got a new villain in this episode, the Fisher King.
And Toei is jelly of that costume design.
And he totally looks like Zurg from Toy Story.
Oh my god, now you've said that, I can't unsee it. He does, with the high shoulders. The high shoulder. He's even got the gun for an arm. God damn it,
He's
Cat.
even got the little skirt thing that goes all the way down
Yeah.
to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying that his design isn't nice. His design is really awesome. He's really
No. They probably spent almost like 3 or 4 months just coming up with that costume.
He looked amazing. On the screen, he looks amazing.
He still looks like Zurg though.
Yeah, he does. But the aesthetic, the bone, like the skeletal part of him, and he looks a bit like a fish person, but not to do with the Underwater Menace. Sorry, Fresno. He's played by the tallest man in Europe.
And it shows.
Yeah, 7'6". Capaldi's not a small person. He has to crane his neck to look at him in the eye.
That's always
No.
fun to see how tall these people are in relation to each other.
And then you've got that sort of detachable jaw he has going, which is also awesome. You've got his voice.
No, but the thing is, like, one of the things about, though, is they actually just came out with this, at Comic-Con. Some guy made a 9-foot-tall Iron Man costume and was walking around in it. So, I mean, they could have had him in, 6-inch stilts, too. So.
Well, they didn't. It was all his own height. From what I saw of the Doctor Who extra videos, it was all his own height because they showed him putting the costume on bit by bit. He didn't have any artificial lifts or anything like that. It wasn't like Colony Surf where he was standing on a Segway. So yeah, he's got this amazing voice played by Peter Serafinowicz, who you will have heard because he was Darth Maul.
Yeah, he's that stuntman, right?
Don't go there.
No.
Again, though, Peter Serafinowicz is another person I would like to see in a Doctor Who episode rather than just hear him. but I suppose I can forgive it because he is a pretty good voice actor in addition to being a good actor as well. And that scream that he gave off, the call of the Fisher King?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who provided that?
Who?
Corey Taylor of Slipknot.
Okay.
I'm serious.
That's a weird cameo, but all right.
Apparently he's a big Doctor Who fan.
Okay.
So I don't know if he volunteered his services or they approached him. He gave that roar. He was just in the studio for a day recording different roars. That was really, blood-curdling.
He is a monster.
You should have a winning formula with this character.
But he does nothing.
Yeah, I emphasise should, because you've got this giant, imposing alien warlord, and he's a complete chump.
And he's actually intimidating too. He's like hovering over the Doctor and everything.
He's
amazing.
super intimidating, but he's a complete chump.
I think if Toei gets that costume, you'll see a whole season of that costume in like either Power Rangers or Kamen Rider. Just saying.
They're not going to get their hands on the costume, and they've probably already done it.
He even kind of with his face reminds me of Predator almost, with the two little spindles coming out from his opening maw of mouth.
And he kills a couple of people, but he does it off screen.
Which is boring.
All you see is the aftermath, and he has, 5 minutes of screen time total?
He has a time where he kind of intimidates the Doctor, but not really, and then he dies.
And speaking of Power Rangers, he came across as kind of a monster of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his plan? Try to take over the world.
He kind of was.
Well, enslave the Earth and conquer it, but it was basically take over the world. And he's supposed to be this super intelligent, super cunning villain, and the Doctor tricks him into going outside and getting killed by a tidal wave.
After a very epic speech.
Yes. You could say he took the bait.
Boo! Boo!
Insert rim shot here.
Screw you, boo. Why?
What have you got against the Ghost in the Mario series? And, sorry, I'll move on before Kat wants to kill me.
Too late.
I did... Well, folks, if you wonder why I'm not here for next week's episode, you know why.
Hey, that's my joke, asshole.
Oh, great, now I managed to piss off both my guests.
You're next, Cherry.
I did like his speech about the Time Lords.
Mm-hmm.
Time Lords, cowardly, vain curators, who suddenly remembered they had teeth and became the most warlike race in the galaxy. But you're still slavishly protecting time, willing to die rather than change a word of the future. If that's not a perfect summing up of the Doctor and how he's different to the rest of the Time Lords, I'm not sure what is.
So did you copy that down on the first watch or the second?
Second. Second. I always make my notes on the second. I didn't copy it down, I just remember that from memory because I'm amazing like that. No. I wrote it down the second watch. I did like his pose at the end though, as his death was coming towards him.
His arms out.
I can't decide if it was like I accept my fate. He was confident it wouldn't actually hurt him, but he was going, "Come at me, bro."
No, I think he just drove through his hands like, well, all right, whatever.
Well, shit! Splash!
And the thing is, like, he went out there because he was probably fooled by one of the oldest tricks in the book. Like, literally, he was like...
He was fooled by the made you look maneuver.
He was fooled by being a stupid idiot.
And now we know why there was only one power core.
Yeah, it took me a second watch to realise when the Doctor placed it, but it must have been just before he turned to the camera and said, "Now I'm ready." When Bennett went back to the TARDIS. That could be the only time he could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had to do it away from his other self. Because, the time streams can't cross. They can't cross the streams, goddammit.
Well, they can, but they can't interfere.
Yeah. But no, seriously, in time travel, you see yourself, it's a bad idea.
Tell that to Dr. 11 and Dr. 11 for one mini episode.
Yeah, but that was a mini episode. And he did say the world was about to end.
No.
So anyway, that was all the characters. That was all the characters and the monster and missed opportunities all around, really. And we've deliberately left out one very important part of the story.
We still have like 2 minutes, guys. Can we talk about other things for like 2 minutes?
Actually, by my watch, we are almost there. We are almost exactly there. So, yeah. We need to talk about the introduction, because Fresno had such a problem with this. Oh, my God.
Oh, I think more than just Frez had a problem with that.
Sorry, let me change that. Half the fan base and Fresno had a problem with this introduction. I think we all had a problem with this introduction, didn't we?
Yeah.
This is the first time we've broken the fourth wall since 1965.
No,
Oh, it's not that I have a problem with. Trust me, it's not that.
Is it the whole Beethoven thing?
No. Let's put it this way. This is like somebody just told him, hey, this is a kid's show, and he's like, oh, shit, alright, let me throw this in.
This is a kid's show, so I'll say the word shit.
Well, fuck, we'll do it live.
And now I've got to put the strong language tab on it. Thanks, Kuchiri.
Hey, I already
You're
said
fucking welcome.
Thanks, Obama.
Oh, man. I'm going to miss saying that in a year and a half.
I'm still going to say it. Anyway, Kat, you have a point to make. Please make it.
So, the doctor comes in, and he starts telling us about the whole major plot of the episode at the beginning, before anything else happens.
I think you mean the whole plot.
Before the credits.
I think you mean the whole plot.
Yes, that's what I said, isn't it? He tells us the plot.
You said the major part of the plot. It's not just a major part, it's the whole damn plot.
Well, it's the major part of the plot in the sense that it's the whole running theme behind what happens in the entire episode.
You might have well had him come out with a big, giant, neon pink flashing sign saying, this episode will be resolved by a predestination paradox.
Bootstrap paradox. But
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
Causal loop, bootstrap paradox, predestination paradox, same thing. We're going to call it a bootstrap paradox just because that's the name they gave to it.
Also, it's easier to say.
Oh yeah, they even said bootstrap paradox in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't just break the fourth wall, they disintegrated it with a ray gun.
See, the problem I have is not the fact that it's breaking the fourth wall. That's not bad. We had that in Listen. It worked well there.
That wasn't breaking the fourth wall.
Well, it was breaking the third wall then.
Yeah,
he was still talking to an audience.
But not us.
Yeah.
He was giving a lecture. He was giving a lecture to himself, and if there was a silent passenger, he was talking to them as well.
So it's like this sort of thing can work. It's the fact that they tell us what's going to happen in the story that gets to me.
Yeah.
And I think if you remember, like, if you rewatch Listen, like, he does explain what's going to happen in that episode, but we were less mad about it because Listen was a one-off story that started this way. This is a two-parter that ended on, oh my god, what's going on? Oh, wait, you're just going to tell us what the big twist is.
Now, this ended on who composed Beethoven's Fifth.
Mm-hmm.
We've had ghosts, near drownings, deaths, a giant monstrous alien fish warlord, and we end on Beethoven's Fifth!
I had a laugh at that because it was a callback to the start of the episode.
Yeah,
the absolute worst part is that they don't fucking need this.
And that in itself, by the way, as someone put it out on Something Awful's forums, is a bootstrap paradox in itself. That we only know that it's going to be a bootstrap paradox because the Doctor tells us it's a bootstrap paradox. So that's kind of neat.
The whole thing is they don't need this opening at all.
No.
Because at the end, they tie it all up nicely.
You know, I would actually have moved this to the end.
This was the person in charge taking our hands and guiding us through the tour.
Yeah. And actually, this whole really well delivered monologue by Capaldi would have been perfect at the end of the episode.
Like and like instead of the whole, maybe whenever whenever like Clara, like he was trying to explain Clara what happened and she figured it out on her own. Maybe they do a thing where he does the whole speech there.
I get that this is a show that is watched by a lot of children, but there's a fine line to be trodden between explaining things to children and treating your fan base like idiots.
Problem is, even children aren't this stupid. They can understand the concept.
And
of
as Fresno pointed out in his review that he did, you have to assume that your viewers are clever. Perhaps not super clever, but clever enough to get most of what you're talking about without having to spell it out for them. And this broke that rule.
This is speaking down to us in like the worst way.
This is not the first time we've had a bootstrap paradox, and I'm not even a huge fan of the concept of the bootstrap paradox myself. We've had it in Blink. We've had it in The Big Bang.
No,
all right, you argue it's not The Big Bang.
Yeah, I've already made my arguments in our chat.
We've had it in the naming of River Song.
We kind of sort of had it in the name of the Doctor.
Kavarian.
Sort of.
Yeah, Kavarian the Science is absolutely a bootstrap paradox because...
No, I meant for name of the Doctor, because if he hadn't mentioned to Clara that he saw her before, then she wouldn't have had that.
Yeah, that's true. That's not really a true example of the trope. The point is, Stephen Moffat has used this quite a few times already.
We've seen it. We understand it.
We don't need to see it again.
And besides that, even if someone was just starting Doctor Who and they watched only the Peter Capaldi, I can't speak today, the Peter Capaldi era,
it's fine.
Even then, they would still be like, "Oh, okay, this makes sense. They've already explained it to me at the end of the episode. I understand what's going on." They didn't have to explain at the beginning.
Yeah.
In fact, they didn't even have to explain it at all. They could have just left it at, where did I get the idea from? And that would have made people think.
As I say, just put that Beethoven monologue at the end of the episode and people will get it.
They didn't even need the Beethoven monologue. They could have just left it off at, how did I get the idea?
Well, no, but the Beethoven monologue would have been a cleverer way of tying it all together without saying, oh, by the way, the whole thing was a bootstrap paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Explaining it at the end is okay, because that's what they did with Time Heist, and it worked fantastically well, didn't it? Think back to the end of Time Heist. Not a bootstrap paradox, but they explained away what had happened, and that the Doctor was the architect, and then there was a montage. They didn't
explain away everything.
And then there was a montage of him going back and setting up the events.
I still say Time Heist was a very bad heist episode, but that was because I was spoiled with Leverage for 5 years.
That, by the way, is not a bootstrap paradox, but you know what? We should stop talking about bootstrap paradoxes and paradoxes in general. Let's go straight to our overall things about the episode. Kuchiri, what do you think?
After just being spoiled at the start, the whole episode feels like it's on autopilot. That's it. Like, it's not mind-blowing. It's not super bad like the last couple episodes have been. It's just a very, very autopilot episode.
Yep. Kat, what do you think?
You know how I said with Magician and Witch, how I was starting to get all hyped up about Moffat again? This lost it.
This wasn't Moffat, though.
Yes, but again, I still say this. He's in charge.
Okay.
He okays these things.
Okay.
He greenlights these things.
That is fair.
It's his fault that we had Force of the Night.
In the end, he is the one who says yes and no. He is the one who, other than the BBC itself, he's like the highest authority when it comes to Doctor Who here.
Yes. Okay, that's absolutely fair.
It's still partially his fault.
All right. I will accept that. And
so
for my
this
part,
has made me lose not all of my faith, but some of what I regained from Witch and Magician.
Mm-hmm. No, that's absolutely fair. And for my part, I watched the first time and I was confused, as I always am when we have a predestination paradox. I can't help it. I'm just not watching it to review it the first time. I'm just watching it to enjoy it. And so I don't catch all the nuances. I have to go back and get all the little bits that I didn't understand the first time. Second time I watched it, it just fell flat. I'm sorry, it just did. It just fell flat. I know I'm supposed to be the positive one or the neutral one, but I can't be too positive about this episode because it wasn't as good as the other three.
Yeah, that's the thing we have to think of. Do we think it's bad because we saw the other episodes and they were good? Or is it just bad because the way the story was told was bad?
I don't know, and this could be one of those episodes where I don't like it initially, and then I go back after the series is finished, and I get it, and I enjoy it more.
This was more, whenever you watch a two-parter that ends with the question, what's going to happen to the Doctor, why is he like that? And it starts out, the next episode, you're thinking you're going to have 40 minutes to figure out what's going on. Like, you watch, let's say you're watching someone play Bioshock, or you're playing Bioshock. Like, if the game started out telling you about how there was mind control and how phrases triggered you and stuff like that, instantly you'd be keen onto.
This might be a bad thing, but I'm just now playing Bioshock.
Oh, fuck! Fuck shit! Fuck shit! Fuck!
Hey! Tone it down.
But you might be. Well, I now can't say it.
I think I know what you're getting at, having seen people play Bioshock.
I am going to tell you something, though. I already know about the would you kindly thing. So
okay.
I was shaking your chain. I really am just now playing Bioshock, but I know about that.
But the thing, see, now you know to focus on the would you kindly. That lessens the experience. Because you know about that from the start. When you get to the part...
It doesn't for me, simply for the fact that I know, and it's like, oh wow, he uses this so much, and you would never guess at it. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying the experience of. This is like the experience of a replay.
But Kuchiri,
you're looking at it and you're seeing all the different times that he said it.
The problem you've got is that you can say the same about anything that you watched after the first time. I mean, the first time you watch anything or play a game or listen to a piece of music.
But what I'm trying to say though is. This is our first time watching this episode, and someone tells us how the episode.
No, that was a terrible idea. That's
what I'm trying to get, because you're going into this episode after watching the first one, going, "Why is the Doctor dead? Why is all this going on? Who's in the casket?" Like we figured out most of them already, but there's still that mystery of trying to figure out. I think Fresno said it best. Whenever last season, whenever people were. First saw Misty, it was supposed to be something that you were supposed to figure out throughout the season, and everyone figures out episode 1.
And I should point out that all 4 of us said, it's the Doctor in the box.
Yeah, no, we all said it was the Doctor in the box. That was, But the thing is, the whole, trying to figure stuff out, I mean, that's part of the fun of watching Doctor Who. That's part of the fun of playing a video game, all this stuff. I knew about the Would You Kindly, and I kind of wish I didn't know about whenever I got to that scene, or whenever I got close to that scene. But that's what I'm trying to say. There's whenever you start out by, let's say you go watch the next episode of Sherlock, and this is supposed to be a big mystery of who killed what, at the very end, and within 5 seconds, some guy tells another guy, he must not know I killed this man.
Me watch Sherlock again after the way the last series finished? Not really likely.
And for those who don't watch Sherlock but play video games, it's like that first case in Phoenix Wright where they show you who the murderer is. In in the cutscene where the person is actually murdered.
By the way, for people who are listening to this, if you haven't played Bioshock yet, or Phoenix Wright, but you had plans to, I'm very sorry that we just spoiled the hell out of it for you.
You've had over 10 years! You've had over 10 years.
Right.
We here at Doctor Who Reviews have absolutely no responsibility for what our guests say. Yes, I am referring to myself in the third person. What of it?
But this could be worse. This could be
actually,
like
not the third person. Anyway, carry on.
The Monk. This would be like the show Monk. If everyone never watched the show, basically he's a detective. Throughout the whole series, he's haunted by his wife's death. He doesn't know what happened with her, and throughout 8 seasons, they barely throw out hints. It's very weak. It's not that good.
And then, in the series finale, he goes back in time and finds out he's the one that killed her. Predestination paradox!
No. In the series finale, within 2 minutes of the episode, one guy calls someone on the phone, and it's literally a guy that they introduced for this one episode only. Monk must not know that I killed his wife. And this is the start of an hour-and-a-half long series finale.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Is this a bad time to mention I'm just now watching Mom? I'm messing with you, but I just wanted to.
Can't be
But it doesn't matter because this character is never mentioned or shows up until the final episode.
Can't beat me to it because I was about to say, by the way, if you haven't yet watched this final series finale, but you plan to, we apologise.
No, we don't.
I think we should wrap it up because I think they've got the idea now that we just thought this was an average episode that didn't really do it right. What's the quote What's the quote that? Oh yeah, to quote the late great Patrick Troughton from The Two Doctors. Well, that didn't work. Now did it? And it didn't. And you can forgive it for not doing because a show like this, it's always going to be hit and miss. And I still think this is better than, as you say, better than Series 7, better than Summer Series 8. But we just had such a strong run of episodes, and it feels like a huge letdown, and I just hope it isn't indicative that we're going to have a slump in quality. Especially as the next episode, next time, looks amazing.
Plus,
and
we
it
finally
has
Maisie Williams.
We've got The Girl Who Died next time. We got Maisie Williams. We got Vikings. We've got Odin. We've got the Maya, one of the deadliest races in the galaxy, although they look more like the big daddies from Bioshock. And of course, we've got a certain Mr. Jamie Matheson writing it.
Nope, there was spoilers of this episode that came out.
There were?
Just don't talk about them.
Don't mention them to us.
Don't.
I already
anything.
did. I already did in the chat.
Oh, just that spoil.
Them, so...
No. I know what you meant. It's nothing major. It's fine. We won't talk about it here, but it's fine. It doesn't spoil anything.
It kind of does.
It doesn't spoil anything. Shut up.
It kind of does.
I didn't see it.
Kuchiri, it doesn't spoil anything. Shut up. If I do my voice like this.
If I may, I would like to end on another quote from somebody. This comes from the late great me.
Wait. Since Kaz dead, I could just bring up has something to do with.
Just cut the video already. Oh wait, that's me. That was a message to myself.
That's your job.
Damn it, me! You had one job, and I failed it. I will now fire myself.
Brainiac, you have failed this review.
Oh my god, nice our reference. Oh no, this will be the last review I ever do because I'm now about to fire myself and hire my replacement. So
nobody will ever know I am the one who got Brainiac fired.
From myself.
Oh god.
So anyway, let's end this nonsense, please. So that was before the flood. I got it right this time. Suck it, Kuchiri. And join us next time for The Girl Who Died with Maisie Williams and Vikings and Jamie Matheson writing. Until then, bye for now. Hey folks, we are here to review before the fucking hell.
I've never heard of that documentary.
I forgot to introduce ourselves before I introduced the episode.
Wait. That could have worked. That could have worked to what we would plan on doing.
Okay, you know what? We'll do that. We'll introduce the episode and then ourselves, and nobody will ever notice. With Maisie Williams and Vikings.
And then followed by He Who Shall Not Be Named.
He said the fucking spoiler. We have to edit this out. Fuck.
He did?
Yeah. Don't think too hard.
I was trying not to pay attention because I
don't think too hard about what he said. Don't worry, I'm cutting all this out. And my arms are kind of killing me, so let's get on with this.
That's why you should stop your 5-hour-long masturbating sessions. Man, I've been telling you this for years.
Only 5 hours? Weak.
I beg your pardon?
Weak.
You just don't learn. You just don't learn that these recording sessions start the moment you pick up the call, and all that can go in the outtakes. And guess what? Some of this is going in the outtakes.
You know they might.
I still want to know what's up with that piano music.
I have no idea.
I swear it must be hold music that Skype put in or something. I don't even fucking know.
I think Kuchiri is messing with me. I think he has every idea what that is.
I might. But
God damn it, right. Okay.
I was on Facebook whenever I unplugged it, made a video play, and I think that might have been it.
Let's just assume it was the ghost of Ludwig van Beethoven, and we'll continue from there.
What, who wrote the fifth,
That would
though?
be really fun if that was like part of.
Who composed the fifth? Oh.
What the fuck? Kuchiri,
What the hell?
you said it's a spoiler. That doesn't mean reveal the spoiler for all to hear.
What?
Especially
What
me,
did I
who
say?
didn't know about it.
What did I say?
You said the name of the episode after the girl who died. And that was the whole spoiler you were supposed to avoid. Good job.
Oh, that
Well,
wasn't a joke? It's a
No.
joke.
No. That really was the name of the episode. But you didn't hear it, so you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh no, I heard it. I just don't.
No, the
doesn't-
thing about was a spoiler.
Don't think about it too hard, Kat. You'll just hate him even more.
I'm not thinking about it at all.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. I will edit this up tomorrow because my arms are killing me.
More thinking about oh.
It's nice you take pleasure in my pain.
No, I just imagine you like waving your arms all around. Kuchiri, damn it! With your arms going all over the place.
That has
Like-
been the most high-pitched "what the fuck" I've ever exclaimed. Actually,
So are you saying that he's doing a Kermit?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that somebody didn't run up and say, "Why are you shouting?"